Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm 32. I like BDSM.
Alright, so I want to review Generation 1 of Pokemon and how I feel about it. Alright, so first, we're going to start with the most common thing about Pokemon. Pokemon. So, Cody, how do you feel about Generation 1 Pokemon?
They are very good. I like the way they jump around.
They don't, their sprites don't move, Cody.
No, Pikachu's does. He follows you in Gen
Yeah.
Yellow.
Fine. Pokemon Yellow, he moves around. Alright, what do you dislike about him, Cody?
All the game mechanics.
No, just the Pokemon themselves, Cody.
Oh, some of them are kind of shitty and generic, like Muck just being a big pile of poo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Electrode and Voltorb being Pokeballs and/or upside-down Pokeballs.
But I mean, like, they were simple, but it worked for the time.
Matt, there's simple, and then there's just too simple.
Honestly, like, yeah, I like how, like, simple but yet complex, like, some of them are, like, Nidoking's
Nidoking's perfect.
lit. Like, he's simple, but he's, like, monstrous at the same time. Gyarados, lit. Dragonite's, like, really cute, but, you know, it's menacing, too.
I like Kangaskhan, because it's like this big thing, but it's also like a kangaroo, and it throws its baby around when it dies.
What about Mew? It's just a fetus.
Yeah.
Okay, like, Mew's just a disgusting fetus, but, like, Mewtwo was so simple. But you knew if you messed with Mewtwo, you were gonna, like, lose. Okay.
He was ominous. The way they introduced him was amazing.
Yeah,
like, the movie was great.
No, we're sticking to the games, Matt. We're sticking to the games.
No, I'm just saying, like, the way the movie...
The anime is not canon.
It's, fuck you, I often forget that, actually, I really do.
They built him up when you went to Cinnabar Islands, the Pokemon Mansion. Like, when you
Oh,
read
yeah,
the book...
There's that one guy blocking the entire entrance. Lone man's job.
But, like...
Probably just doesn't leave the spot because in
like,
life...
When you read the books, it was like... Read the books in there, it was like... Oh, this mystical Pokemon, Mew. And it was like somewhere in Guatemala or whatever, Mew gave birth February 2nd, and it was like, okay. And then you found Mewtwo, then you got bodied because he's a psychic type. That was broken. But... Next, we're going to talk about...
Has anyone ever brought up the fact that Mewtwo looks very similar to Randall from Monsters, Inc.?
Okay.
Think about it. There's Randall. There's Randall from Monsters.
I'm looking at like my Amiibo right now, and I'm looking at like Henry's Randall. Okay.
Oh,
It's just Randall with less light. Oh dear God.
What is that in the bottom right? What is that in Randall's
I told y'all.
What is that?
We're getting out of here. Alright, next we're going to talk about the next important thing about Pokemon. The first thing you're thrusted into, the story.
Ash's mom.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true. She never shuts up when you go down the stairs, especially in...
She literally does not talk to you. You have to talk to her.
Am I getting confused with Gen 2, where you go downstairs and... Okay, my bad. That was my first one, so I'm kind of like...
Right. For those who never played through Gen 1 or haven't played through Generation 1 in a while, you walk out your house, you walk up, and then Professor Oak yells at you, and he's like, hey, go complete the Pokédex. And then you go do that while fighting gym leaders, your rival, and stopping Team Rocket because they're kind of annoying. And literally that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some kid who wants to go do, like... He just wants to be the equivalent of, like, the Pokemon National Geographic, but some fucking faggots who try to be, like, as menacing as, like, I don't know, fucking Robbie Rodden are, like, following you around all
What
day.
a Sporticus.
There's nothing really... You can't talk about the story a lot because it's just... You're there, and you're just kinda there.
I mean, you're just doing what every other kid's trying to do, be a Pokemon master.
Yeah.
You just wind up getting caught up with Team Rocket's bullshit.
And Team Rocket's, like... I think Team Rocket's cool, but, like... They're so
See, they're
weird.
like a threat, but they're not, like, a major threat. Like, there's something, you know, like...
Like, Giovanni's the only threat about them.
Yeah, like, Giovanni's cool, but I feel like if they made him more elusive... In the fact... Because, like, you fight him 3 times.
Well, you know what here's what I love though. Like, you get to the gym, and it says like, "There's no one home." You're like, "Well, gosh dang!" You leave, and you forget all about it. Then you come back,
And,
and what do you know?
See,
it's Giovanna.
That
there.
could
Oh
it
my
could have
fucking
been
god.
it could have been handled better. Like imagine like you're going down in the game corner. You finally see Giovanni. Okay, the person just
Did
quit.
that boy just leave?
Yeah, you see Giovanni, and he's like, "Oh, you're not ready for me yet." And then he leaves. Like you don't fight him yet. And then you go to Silphco. He's sitting up there. He's like, you beat everybody to get up here. All right, just leaves. And then you're like, oh man, I wish I could just took him out. Then you get to the gym leader, and then sitting there is Giovanni, the man who's been elusive, has been running away from you. You're about to finally fight him. I think that would have been cooler.
Fuck it. It's like, to be honest, we're like our topic's Gen 1, but I don't know what else to say about it. Like it's just it's
no,
Gen
I got
1.
more stuff. We could
Like
talk
the
about.
Pokemon, I mean I like them. I don't like it's like it's middle. Like there's there's a good few I enjoy, like their appearances and shit. But you know I don't like them
Poliwrath
all.
is like my favorite Pokemon
I don't
ever.
like
Yeah,
I don't
I
like
know
them
you
all.
just
I don't
like
hate
Poliwrath.
them all. You know it's Gen 1. It's there. You know it's important because it started the entire thing. But some of its mechanics were kind of shitty, and it was very like there was no strat to it.
Matt,
You know,
you just ruined the script I wrote.
fuck. What do you mean?
That was gonna be the end part where we just conclude how we feel about it.
You don't gotta. Sorry, my bad. I
No,
didn't
it's
know
cool,
this was
it's cool,
scripted. I
it's
thought
cool.
this was like
Okay,
a
let's scuttle onto a different topic. What do you guys think?
I was gonna
Of-
characters.
I was about to say, do you prefer the old watercolor art or the new digital art they do?
Okay, Cody. That is not why we're here today.
That is definitely why we're here today.
Oh,
The
fine.
watercolor art was great. I mean, they both look good, but the watercolor art is just like it's like I can't
It's
describe it
moist.
with words.
It's nice.
Yeah, it makes me moist. Like the moist meter is like on fucking max right now when it comes to the watercolor. I mean, it's watercolor, of course, it's gonna make you fucking moist.
How do you feel about the rival? 'Cause in every
It's
Pokemon game,
fucking.
there's a
He's a
rival.
fucking dick.
He is pretty dang cool.
It's just
I like
it's,
the
it's,
name.
it's
I agree
Gary
with
Oak.
Cody. He's amazing.
He is.
Literally, he's always like 15 steps ahead of you.
Well, the thing is like, you know, he's just literally like, I mean, he's cool and all, but he's just that kid who's trying to one up you at a constant when you're just going at your own pace, B. It's
I know,
like,
but that's a great contrast.
oh no, it
Because-
is. It is a great.
Because it's
Just
like-
to bring up
Realize-
other Pokemon games. I'm sorry, Cody. You want to go?
No. I was about to say though, because it's like, you know, you're like, you know, I'm on my way to be a Pokemon master, and like, you know, you can take your time with it, but then you see this asshole who's like 15 steps ahead of you, and you're like, I should probably pick up my game. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be the master if this asshole keeps stepping me up.
Like,
And then what do you know? Lo and behold, you think you're the champion. Turns out, Poopy
He's
Butthole
already-
McPherson is champion.
No, yeah, he
to,
was
to
the,
contrast
he
like
was-
other Pokemon games,
Gen 2
all the other rivals after Generation 2, they're the ones that like, oh, I'm just gonna go at a leisurely pace, and it's like, if we're both doing that, there's no
Yeah, there's
tension
no.
there between
Yeah,
rivals.
there's no
that's the thing.
tension.
Gen 2's rival really wasn't as better as Gary Oak, in my opinion. He was just like, see, I played this.
He was a grumpy old cunt.
Yeah, I played Gen 2 as was my first game before I went back to Gen 1, and I mean, I liked it, but it's just like, he was just some kid that's, like, for one, I thought it was a girl, because with the old-looking sprays and the long
He can
orange
be a girl
hair.
if you want him to be.
I'm just saying, like, no, even his battle spray looked feminine, but what I was going to say was that Gen 2 was literally just, like, some kid who stole Pokemon, and every time you'd fight him, he'd always beat you. Like, he wasn't a few steps ahead of you, he'd
You mean
tried
he'd always beat.
No, you
My
have to
bad,
beat him
my bad.
to progress
You'd
the
always,
game.
you'd always beat him, what am I saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to go fast because Henry wants to go on to the next topic. Because you'd always beat him. It was like the opposite. He was always trying to kick your ass, but you'd always just fucking
To teach him to learn to
Yeah.
love
It was the
Pokemon
opposite
and not
of
be a dick.
it was the opposite of Gen 1, where you're right, Gary was always like 15 steps ahead of you.
But again, I still love Gary. Okay, next we're gonna talk about the mechanics, the thing Cody's been waiting for. All right,
Yeah.
Cody. What mechanics? We're gonna start off with the good things about it. What are the mechanics you think they did well in Generation
Well, they made a working game to start.
1? Okay,
That's a great.
roast them,
Yes.
Cody. Roast them.
No, I mean, I'm not too keen on my mechanics, but I just know there is a lot wrong with mechanics. Like,
All right,
there's
all right, all right.
nothing.
Save that.
Can I say
Yeah, no, I
something?
know, but it's just.
Matt, what do you like about the mechanics in the game?
Well, I mean, like, are you talking specifically battle or the game in whole?
Like, what mechanics, as in Generation 1, do you like?
Well, I mean,
Because, like, since it's the start, there's, like, we could talk about all the mechanics they put in.
think of it like this. Like, it was kind of one of the first games. Now, I'm going to sound like every other YouTuber ever that talks about Gen 1 and how revolutionary it was, which, I mean, the fact it was, like, really interactive and that you needed to, like, if you met someone with the other version of the game, you could get, like, specific Pokemon, and trading was interesting. Like, the trading mechanic.
It made you go out and find other people.
It was very, that,
or just
like,
buy 2 copies and trade with yourself. Like,
okay, that's true, but that's just, yeah, that's a cock thing. Like, that's defeating, like, the main purpose of the game. Like, one of the biggest, like, mechanics to affect you, like, emotionally as a person was, like, kind of building yourself up the courage to go out and ask, hey, do you play Pokemon? And if it's the other version, let's trade. Or just trading in general. The topic, the concept of trading different Pokemon was just, like, I bet back then was just fucking mind-blowing to people. That alone as a mechanic is just the best part of the game, in my opinion, was that the trading and shit like that. And now, the fighting, the whole battle concept is alright. Like, you know, like Cody said, that they got a working game. But, I mean, it was, like, I guess it was pretty amazing at the time, graphically-wise. I mean, you got.
Hey, boys, I will be back in 2 minutes because I got to do something important.
All
So
right,
you guys keep talking.
I guess you can say the fact that they put a game that big on a cartridge, and then it saved internally, like, I don't know, like, it's just like fucking, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Henry. I probably sound like an idiot, but, like, you know, like, I just got back from work and I just jumped in on this.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You're speaking your mind. My favorite, you know, I like the fighting. It was because there was a lot of turn-based combat, like games around at that time. There was a lot of them, but this one handled it differently with like different elemental types, or this type could be this type and all of that stuff. Like it really added like a lot of strategy to it, which means, hey, I gotta build my team around this, or oh crap, let's say Charizard can't handle this, I need another Pokemon to handle this Pokemon. It added a lot of, not, I want to say replayability, but it added a lot of, oh man, I can do so much in the game. And the fact that I added like 151 different, basically, characters to play as is nice too.
Oh no, yeah, the scope of how many Pokemon you can, like, albeit, like, not to sound harsh, but in, like, you know, you get a grass type that's just another grass type that can learn, like, slightly different variations of moves. That's pretty much it, but it was their appearance and the design and their cries that made them all, like, unique. Like, it was more of, like, a personal taste. Like, these days, like, you know, as far as the Pokemon franchise has gone, like, every different Pokemon's got, like, a specialty to them in battle. But, I mean, back then, it was like, you know, you get a Bulbasaur in a fucking, like, what's another grass? Get a Bulbasaur in a Weeping Bell or whatever the fucking, you know, give them similar movesets, that's pretty much it. But, I mean, that's going to sound like I'm shitting on it more, but I'm not even shitting on it. I'm just saying, like, you know, we've gotten far from back then. Like, at the time, though, either way, even though it was as simple as movesets, like, it was something that really wasn't as unique, it was their appearance and design that made it feel like your own personal thing. Like, you liked them. There was something for everybody to choose from.
And having similar movesets is not bad. It actually keeps, like, from some of them being unusable. Because, like, in other RPGs, it's like, oh man, I like this character, but they're, like, unusable because how bad they are.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, I have a Venusaur. I don't want a Venusaur. You could go to somewhere else and still have, like, the same advantages as a Venusaur. And I think that's what makes it great.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, you're right. I didn't want to seem like I was shitting on it. Like, the fact that you're gonna get like a same moveset in different Pokemon made it more like as a personal choice for someone. And it, like, you know what I mean. Restating what I said earlier.
What topic are we on now?
Oh, we're on the same topic. Now we're getting to your favorite part, Cody.
Yeah, you go.
We're gonna start off with Matt talking about how he feels about the mechanics. Matt, how do you feel about the bad, like, what bad mechanics did Gen 1 have?
I thought this was Cody's segment. Mine was the good segment. I thought Cody's was the...
No.
Because I know Cody can point out more than I can. I was just going to say how the battling is, but Cody can go deep.
You want to give it up to Cody? Cody, this is
all
you.
Go to Cody.
Hang on. Like, Matt, you talk for a second.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that,
Matt, what's your least favorite mechanic? Let's start with that.
Well, before I start that real quick, Cody, what we were talking about is how, like, because there were so many Pokemon to choose from, there was, like, a large scope of variety for the game. That's what we were talking about before you came here. But,
Oh yeah.
no, yeah, like, and how, like, everyone, there's, like, Pokemon that have similar movesets, but that doesn't make them any useless because, like, it's all about personal preference, because back then, like, the movesets weren't as advanced as we have now. But aside from that, things that I don't like about the game, fuck, I really can't, like...
Oh yeah. I thought of a good one.
I can't exactly pinpoint the anything super duper negative. Like aside from how the story is kind of just, it's Pokemon. That's it. It's really hard for me to describe without going into as deep as Cody is the battling. 'Cause the battling is just so simple and like kind of meh. Like back then, it's like
Yeah.
it was types. It's all about types. It was really about types. Like Cody, it's your. I'm tossing this baton to you, bro. I got nothing else.
Wait, no. Pass it to me.
All right, go, Henry.
Alright. One of my least... There's a lot of bad mechanics in Gen 1. I'm going to save a lot of them for Cody. A couple I hated were the fact that they tried to make Ghost type super effective on Psychic and utterly failed, and actually made Psychic immune to Ghost, which made Psychic types absolutely broken.
Just fucked.
Because the only other type that could hurt him was Bug type. The strongest Bug type move was held by Beedrill, who was part poison, who was weak to Psychic.
Poor bastard.
To be fair, it's like Beedrill's like wait, you mean like the strongest?
Beedrill's absolutely garbage.
Come on, I like his design. He's like one of my favorites.
Mega Beedrill's cool, but Beedrill back then was so bad because it wasn't fast enough to outspeed like any of the Psychic types. Except for like Slowbro and maybe Hypno, but still they would body him. And another bad mechanic was the special. That was so unbalanced.
Wait, the what?
Like for stats they had attack, defense, special, and speed.
Shit! Yeah. Okay, it just came back to me.
Using moves like Amnesia or Calm Mind just raised both of those at the same time. It was making it more defensive and offensive at the same time, and it was hard to handle.
It's like the thing is looking at battles back then. Of course, because of the simplicity and like it was a whole new thing they were trying. And to be honest, maybe it's a good thing they didn't try super hard. Like they tried to be complex, and because of that, they fucked up. Like what you just said earlier. What was it, Psychic and Ghosts? But Like it's because of how simple it was back then. There was no way to like come back. You see these sweeps these days. That classic level 1 Rattata with like Endeavor or some shit, whatever the set is, just fucking sweeping an entire team. Or Aron. I love the Aron sweep. Like that shit is like the sweeps are common because of how you can change up battles despite type differences and shit. I mean types are important, but because of the new way to battle, it really fucking flips the game. I'll never forget when I left. Like I didn't play Pokemon for years, and I got back into the game and got like Soul Silver. I transferred all my Pokemon via other like copies of the game my friends let me borrow to Soul Silver, and went back into it, and it just felt so fucking odd because it wasn't what I remembered back in Silver. Like it was all these strat moves and shit, and everyone's like, then later on down the line, like, do you IV train? It's like, none of that stuff was in Gen 1, so... But at the same time, like, everything's got its, like, positives and negatives, but specifically just with Gen 1, it's kind of meh.
Okay. Alright, and I'm trying to think, was there anything else I had to say?
Man, I really jumped around that last time, sorry about that.
You know what's a really good thing about Gen 1, especially Green?
Here, take the baton, Cody, here you go.
Now... You all know and love our favorite Pokemon, and I think they look extra special in red and green. Their sprites are probably some of the most beautiful and most well-designed caricatures of Pokemon you could ever imagine. Mew looks like a diseased rat fetus. Slowpoke looks even slower than normal. Wigglytuff looks wrong. I think it was Hitmonchan looks like a Togetic watching Duo take a dump.
Okay.
No, I mean, it was obviously intentional.
I'm loving it, Cody. What's your least favorite mechanic, though?
Do it. Fucking drop it all, Cody.
Mechanic?
Yeah, your
I
least
mean-
favorite mechanic.
No, go into the battling. Just fucking do it.
If all the glitches in the battling counts as a mechanic, then
Missing no.
actually no. This isn't really a mechanic, but I don't know. Gen 1 felt kind of slow. I don't know if that's only me or not, but
No,
'Cause,
going back
as
to that, it's just, oh god.
like when you first play it as a kid, it's like it feels like an adventure. But then when you go back to replay it, it's like I just kind of
as
wish you were playing
kids,
Fire Red and Leaf Green.
A lot of us didn't use the bike.
Oh, dude.
I was not one of those kids. I used the bike everywhere.
I never used the bike.
Oh fuck, I loved the bike. I'll never forget when my sister like took my game and made a new game when I was away from home. And I came back and I'm like, "Where's my bike?" And she's like, "Oh, I started a new game." And the thing is, my brother gave me his copy, so I had no idea where the hell he get the bike from. And that was when like I was an idiot. Okay, like when Gen 1 was still relevant, I think Gen 2 is reaching its end, and I was like just really young. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
No. Now, another bad mechanic or just bad thing about the game in general was Missing No. Missing No broke the game literally.
Well, I mean, he is kind of a glitch, and he's not something you're supposed to find. So
It's something you intentionally do by yourself, though.
but,
Like, yeah.
Like, it's okay, like, a glitch sometimes happens in games, and, like, it can't be... But glitches can't really be recreated all that much. There's really a strategy how to, like, get Missing No.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to go out of your way to get Missing No.
You
It's
have to
really
start
hard to
off.
accidentally get to him.
Like, unless you just so happen to do everything, and then just so happen to be swimming up and down, like, what was it, near Cinnabar Island or some shit?
Yeah.
Going up and down the side of that, you just so happen to cue the random encounter. Like, you gotta hunt for that shit.
Speaking of that Gyarados getting frozen, Frozen was a broken mechanic. 'Cause if you get frozen in that game, the only way to unfreeze is to have freaking
Someone used a fire attack on you.
no, Ice Heal. Fire attacks didn't unthaw.
Oh,
that was bad.
oh shit! Really?
But now it's time for my favorite part, the final verdict. Even though in my notes I put viral because I was tired last night.
Can I talk a really fun exploit in Gen 1?
Go
Yes,
for it.
go ahead, do it.
If you use Leech Seed and Toxic,
Oh,
you
it
just
keeps you
stack and
strong.
fucking destroy everything.
It does. And Hyper Beam, if you knock it out, you don't have to recharge. The
Crits were
final
based off of
verdict,
speed.
What would you rank Generation 1 of Pokemon at?
You know, I used to, like, back when I stopped playing Pokemon and I never bothered with some of the new ones, like, I think I stopped playing after Gen, maybe 4? You know, after Gen 4 and shit. I used to praise Gen 1 as, like, oh, Gen 1's a really good game. Like, I never thought it was the best, but I always put it at my top because I'm a nostalgia fuck. And no, Gen 2 is actually my top next to 1. But now that I look at it with, like, actual, like, thought process and getting the chance to try all the new ones recently, I want to fucking...
No, I mean,
In
as
my
a
heart-
standalone game,
Yeah,
what would you
dude,
rank this out of 10?
I'm gonna have to give it like a 6.5 out of, maybe even a 5.5 out of 10. Like, or okay, 6.5 out of 10. I can't like, my heart, like the nostalgia is like I'm grasping onto it, but I can't make it any lower or any higher. It's just when you look back at all the problems it had, it's not like it holds up just for nostalgia because it's Gen 1. Like honestly, that's it. I love it, but I don't think it's like a good game these days. Clearly.
Cody, what would you rank it?
I'd give it a solid 6. It's a good game. You can play it without knowing anything about Pokemon and possibly enjoy it only if you're into kind of more older games, you know, like older RPGs, because, like, you know, it's a simple RPG, you know, take turns fucking hitting each other and screaming at each other. Good laughs. But if I was a young child who was still obsessed with Pikachu, I'd be like, it's 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So, I'd say play Gen 2. It's way better and is just all around a way better game.
We're
Oh
getting
no,
into that
as
one.
someone who started with Gen 2, that's like probably still one of my favorite games of all time.
I started with Gen 1. Like,
Yeah.
I played Yellow as a baby, and I still think Gen 2 is better.
I started with Silver, and then I went to Pokemon Yellow was my Gen 1, and then I went to Red after Yellow, because I wanted to see what, like, actual Gen 1 was, because Pokemon Yellow was like, more of the anime, in a way. Like that was, so, like, I
Yellow
actually,
was
like,
wasn't Yellow just
It
the
was
same game with
loosely-
updated sprites?
Yeah,
I mean, it
it
was
was
loosely-
loosely
yeah.
based off. Like,
They gave you a Pikachu to follow you. That's really it.
Well, then when you go to the Oak, he's like, oh, hey, we don't got any of the other starters, but we got this Pikachu. Like, it's literally like...
Again, I mean, like, the only real difference is, like, you know, Team Rocket has a Meowth most of the time. Like, because you fight Jesse and James, so that's cool. And, you can get all 3 starters. That's one of the main, I think, draws of Yellow, was you get all 3 of the starters.
Yellow was the shit for that.
Yellow was.
I started with Generation 1, and I like it, but I physically can't go back and play through original Gen 1 again. It's too broken and unfair and unbalanced to play through again.
It's just slow and kind of a slog. Like, Gen 2 is, slow. I feel, a much... Gen 2 picks up a pace.
It is slower. But that's not the problem with me. It's the fact that it's almost an unplayable game. It's
playable. It's playable.
Unless you know what you're doing.
It's unplayable at certain parts. Like Sabrina, that is the worst to fight.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I said, like I was gonna say, unless you know what you're doing. Like when the fucking Pokemon Red came out on the eShop and I played through it, I grinded my ass off. I still am. Like, I'm sitting over here. You know when you run into that dude who sells you the Magikarp? I bought him, and I stayed up all night before work one night like an idiot, and I got him to a Gyarados, and then I kept leveling up from there. Like, I chilled, and if you know what you're doing and you grind properly, you can pretty much make that game a breeze. But for anybody who's going back to Gen 1 to try it, they're going to...
Oh, I mean, grinding can make any game a breeze, to be honest.
What I mean by unplayable, I mean it on both sides, even for the NPCs.
Oh, yeah.
Because of a mechanic we forgot to talk about is, if the Pokemon has a move that is super effective against the other one, they'll just keep using that move, even if it's a non-damaging move. I remember I took out a Pokemon like about 38 levels higher than me. With like I took out a level 50 Venomoth with a level 12 Pidgey because it couldn't hit me with anything except for like Toxic. And I just kept healing it and using Fly. I
bet it fucking rose in level because you took out
it went up 1 level. It was not.
Wait, your Pidgey?
Yep, it only went up 1 level.
Wait, it's not like those games where like if you take out a Pokemon of a higher level,
that doesn't happen until Generation 5.
Okay, because you know what I mean. Like for example, you're like a level 12 and you take out a 35, and it's programmed expectancy to give you a large amount of EXP because it balances itself out. You feel me?
But and especially remember when Twitch played Pokemon, they took out a Dragonite with a Venom. That was because it kept using Agility. Sometimes it just could be unfair on both ends, and I don't think that's a fun game to play when you just keep exploiting the crap out of it. For me, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. If you want to play through Generation 1, just get Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yeah, Fire Red and Leaf Green were great fucking remakes. To be honest, I'd love to. That's the thing. On the topic of Nintendo themselves, real quick, it makes me mad how they do their marketing shit. Okay, so as a boy, as a lucky man who bought the 3DS during its launch cycle, the first...
Sad man.
Hey, I thought it was a birthday gift. I thought it was cool. And who was an ambassador because of that? Because not a pure ambassador. There's 2 different ambassadors. There's the ones in the UK. If you're part of the ambassador program, you get a bunch of free shit. There were some ambassadors that got a special 3DS XL just for being on the ambassador program. But in America, in America, you just get shit. You just get a few free games. That was
you get golf on NES. Congratulations.
Well, not just that. You get Game Boy Advance games. That was the thing I was going to bring up.
I would love to keep the conversation going for this video, but I have to cut it short.
Go for it.
Thank you for watching. If you guys want to say your social medias, you can.
I have a YouTube, I guess, but it's not really worth checking out.
I have an Instagram. It's called Krusty Smegma. And I got 5 pictures. Check it out.
Follow me on Twitter at EatThatPussy445.
Oh, and by the way, the ranking for Generation 1 is 5.5 out of 10 right now.
Oh.
So we'll see you guys for Generation 2. Goodbye.